Hello, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started now. Thanks for joining us on this month's Marketplace Update and Q&A with Prime Guidance. And this month we have our special guest, Emma from Marketing by Emma. Say hello, everybody, to Emma.
Hello.
Emma's an expert in listing optimizations and copywriting, keyword research, and so forth. So I think we're going to have some great insights from her as well. And before I forget, Emma, you also wanted to throw out a special offer. We can also mention this at the end, but I'll let you tell people now.
Absolutely. Yes, I would be happy to offer anybody listening a free Amazon listing or product page analysis. So, we're going to be talking a lot today about how to prepare for Q4 and the holiday shopping season. So, if you would like us to take a look at that and see where there may be some opportunities to strengthen up your creative, we would be absolutely happy to do that. You can go to marketingbyemma.com/free analysis.
Perfect. Sounds great. All right. So I'm joined here by several consultants on the Prime Guidance team. And if for those that are new to this webinar, it's just we're going to talk shop. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things. A little preview of some of the things we're going to talk about. We'll talk about Amazon Accelerate, some of the new things that have come up at that event. Some pretty exciting things, actually. I'm pretty impressed and anxious to talk about them. We'll talk about content optimizations, preparing for the big deal days in October, which is 8th and 9th, and brand positioning for fourth quarter, among other things. So it's pretty free form, but feel free to chime in with any questions. If you're joining us on Facebook, YouTube, any other places this is being live streamed, I'd encourage you to go to the link and join us on our Zoom session so you can engage and ask any questions that you have. Feel free to just raise your hand or just chime in with a chat with any questions as we go along. All right, so I did not go to Amazon Accelerate, but I've been following a lot of people in my social community, and I'm pretty impressed with some of the things that were announced there. So let's just kind of talk, some of the highlights. One of them is multi-channel fulfillment. It's a function that's been around for a long time. Amazon has offered this. A lot of sellers do not actively engage in using it because it's just not been very reliable. It's been functional, but they always kind of put the multi-channel shipments on the back burner, and you couldn't really count on fast delivery. Amazon's changing that. They're now announcing that without any increase in cost, sellers will get a 40% faster experience that will benefit customers regardless of where they order when using Amazon multi-channel fulfillment. So for example, what used to be the standard shipping window of 5 days has dropped to 3 days, and the expedited window dropped from 3 days to 2 days. And they're now allowing people to show real-time estimates on TikTok ads later this year, and also real-time estimates for e-commerce websites like Shopify, Google Ads, Google search results, and so forth. So it basically took something that was an existing platform and made it a whole lot more usable and dependable and reliable for sellers to trust. So I'm excited about that. I think it's going to open up more and more opportunities, and Amazon's really pushing their buy with Prime. The last couple of years, it's really gained momentum. It started off really slow, a lot of hesitation from sellers, and just why would I use buy with Prime? I've not proven that there'll be enough of an increase. But Amazon's really been pushing hard, and they have 25% more brands that are now offering it, which has led to 45% more orders. So their stats show a 16% increase in revenue per customer when people leverage buy with Prime, and that's surely going to go up now that they're allowing better integration. So for example, in Shopify, there's now an integrated cart, so a unified cart. So for all of your items that are Prime and all of your items that are not Prime, now integrated in one cart, where before there was separation. And I think the most exciting thing I heard from the Accelerate show related to buy with Prime is that they're going to give users that are both Buy with Prime and DSP users access to their product level shopping insights. So that's going to be able to help you pinpoint the right customers and actually direct them to your e-commerce website. Something that you were restricted from being able to gain access to on the Amazon shopping behavior before. I think that's pretty exciting. And I know we already talked about TikTok, but the fact that they're strengthening their partnership with TikTok, especially as it relates to Buy with Prime, shows that they realize TikTok's gaining momentum more and more, and they don't want to be left in the dust. So if you can't beat them, partner with them, and I think that's the approach that Amazon has taken. I kind of captured a lot of things just so far, so I thought I'd pause there and just open up to you guys to see if you had any questions or maybe not questions, but things to add or discussion points.
Sure. The one thing I want to add that we have been discussing internally on with the Buy with Prime, that is sort of like, why would sellers want to do something like that? Because now they're giving away their own, sales data, by doing it. But, what we kind of came to the conclusion of is that not that Amazon doesn't care about that stuff, but whether it's that or now they're, if they're managing, this is not the Buy with Prime, but if they're managing all your shipments from your factory all the ways to, to their fulfillment centers or to their warehouses, now they're going to know who your suppliers are and stuff like that. And the bottom line in that, what I'd say kind of harshly is, get over that, because Amazon is smart enough to figure that stuff out without you, kind of thing. And it's the whole, what's the return on it? And your costs are probably going to be much lower. Your operational smoothness of getting things done without any issues are, going to go, you're not going to have those kinds of problems. So basically what I'm saying is, don't really you factor that in, but then get past it very quickly there. So Amazon is smart enough to figure these things out without any one of us, any specific seller.
Plus,
Yeah,
I think it
we've
gives the buyer more confidence too in your
Yes.
e-commerce website. There's a lot of small mom and pop shops out there that, let's be honest, their checkout experience is not very nice. And I think this is a way for them to give a much smoother, more confident experience.
Absolutely, that trust factor. And that's one of the big things that Amazon has done in its how many years of experience, why people buy from them, is because they trust them there. And now that you're going to see that Buy with Prime on your own website, your own e-commerce site, there's going to be a lift in trust just because of that.
I think that's what it comes down to is, if you're a top brand and you've already gotten, like, you have really good operations, customers trust that you're going to get it to the customer fast, and you're a trustworthy brand, you may not see that much of a benefit. But if you're a no-name brand that's trying to really get behind TikTok, or you're trying to get behind Google and other social channels to try and drive customers to your website, that's where the pause comes in. Do I trust these guys? Are they actually legitimate? Are they taking my money and running, or are they someone I can count on? And not only that, are they going to get it to me fast enough? Like, there's one brand, I won't throw them under the bus, but there's one brand that I've ordered from numerous times, and every single time it takes like over a week to get their shipments. I mean, it'll take like 5 days just for them to ship the order. And to me, it's really frustrating. Like, this is 2024 in e-commerce. Like, consumers don't really want to put up with that anymore. And I'd be very hesitant to order from that brand anymore, because I think twice now I ordered something before I went on vacation and I needed it before I left, never got it in time. And if I'm gone for 2 weeks, it's, sat around unused for that period of time. It's a frustrating experience. So, seeing that I've got real time, delivery windows on the website for anything Buy with Prime, the consumer knows they can use their cart, their checkout they already have their payment information stored. It definitely, adds credibility and helps brands that are maybe less trusted really benefit.
Yep, sure.
Yep, yeah, and that's the reward versus what you're probably giving away for it, which is that much.
Right.
Well,
Mhm.
and also if you are selling on Amazon already, you don't know what percentage of your website customers are just going to Amazon to make that purchase because they feel more confident doing it through that. So
That's right.
it's not necessarily even like it's one of those, I think, mindsets that brands put themselves into of, oh, I'm giving this away by having the buy with Prime on my website, when in reality, there's a chance that you were losing a percentage of those customers to lack of confidence and trust, and then already having some of those other customers just buying from you on Amazon anyway. And so it's not even necessarily a full picture if you're looking at it through that guarded lens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Emma, and
for
you bring
sure.
up a really good important point when you say that, because now, especially if you're using that buy with Prime, you really have to do a good job of, for lack of better words, integrating the Amazon detail page with your page. And I'm not saying copy it or whatever, but do some of the things on your page that Amazon doesn't allow you to do, but you know are going to help. Make
Exactly.
sure that they're working in conjunction with each other. And then, from the seller standpoint, yes, they prefer if they bought from their e-commerce site. It costs them less money. But if they're getting the full, all the information they need to make a informed buying decision between the Amazon detail page, the trust of Amazon, and all the other stuff you can do on your own e-commerce site, because you don't have any specific rules to go by on that, that's where it becomes, I think, very critical and even more important to you.
Absolutely. And also, so many purchases now are made in very split-second decisions. They are more impulsive. And so
Mhm.
the more resistance that you can eliminate from that to just take somebody from that moment of, oh, I want this, to, oh, I bought this. And that's going to have a much, um, it's just an essential piece of this whole equation, as we're seeing the way that the social selling aspect of TikTok and Instagram and even YouTube with their partnership with Shopify, there's just the buyer experience is going through a very rapid, significant change right before our eyes, which is why we're also
Mhm.
seeing all of these different partnerships. Whereas even the conversation 6 months or a year ago, all of these companies were guarded competitors with each other. And now they're realizing, wait a second, if we're behaving in this way, then we're going to become irrelevant. And so even though it's not our ideal perhaps strategy, let's begin to join forces. And so they're actually demonstrating that similar mentality that brands need to have of, you can't really be looking at things in isolation. You really need to be thinking about what is in your best interest for your growth strategy. And if that means maybe giving away some data or taking a little bit of a hit on some profit percentages for the overall good of making sure that your brand is set up to capture as many customers as possible, then that's just where all of this is heading right now.
Right.
Correct.
I think the important
Yep.
thing, customer buying experience, right? Think like your customer. And I had a client about 2 weeks ago. We were talking about this topic in some ways, but my client's comment to me was, well, what about all of my loyal customers who buy on my website on a regular basis? Now I'm going to be sending them to Amazon, where it's going to cost more and all this. There's ways around that. You can create a VIP section on your website that requires a login, and then you're actually enhancing your customer experience for loyalty more. And then on your regular website, shift that, buy by Amazon, that way. And I know we haven't talked about the DSP advantages yet, which I think are huge, but if you have that loyal customer base, let them know how you feel about them, give them a little discount, and have them have a special login to get special membership pricing, that kind of thing. There's ways around this. You just have to be, creative in how you present it to your customer.
Well, I think I want to make sure there's not confusion. There's two different ways that you could sell on your website with Amazon. One would be a link to buy on Amazon, and
Sure.
you could get benefit from, like, let's say the affiliate program brand referral bonus. You send customers to Amazon, they leave your platform, and they get 10% back on that sale off of the referral fees. There's a lot more concern of, like, are they just going to start buying from Amazon and no longer going to my website? I think it's a more valid concern. But when it comes to buy with Prime, they are coming to your website and you're able to offer different products, different pricing. And now those products, you can advertise it is Prime level delivery. So customers can get it fast. They have better transparency on when it's going to arrive. But you actually keep the customer data. They're interacting with your shopping cart, but Amazon's doing the fulfillment. And I think that is really something that Amazon's pushing in a big way. And when you mentioned Emma about what percentage of customers are going to your website and not buying from Amazon, it's a good point, because we have some tricks up our sleeves to be able to leverage data from Amazon and from e-commerce websites to analyze cross-shopping behavior. But how many of those customers went to your website and either just didn't have time, they didn't complete the purchase because of lack of trust, or they went to Amazon and actually chose to buy from a competitor? Well, then it would no longer show up in our data set. So you wouldn't see that the customer originated on your website and then started buying on Amazon, or vice versa. You wouldn't see the customer sale at all. You lost the customer, because if the customer doesn't have enough trust and they say, you know what, let me just see if it's available on Amazon, because Amazon is a platform I trust. They search for your brand, and your competitors advertise against your brand, or they search for a generic product instead because they're not necessarily committed to your brand. And now you lost the customer where you had them originally, but there was some sort of obstacle that kept the consumer from converting. And now you can hopefully overcome that.